How's it going, guys? My name is Justin and welcome to Skyscan Drone Solutions. Pretty much what I'm making this video about today is I found these cool little guys. They're called tiny whoops. And I have a fascination with these guys. So they are these little tiny micro drones. So this is a 65 millimeter, it's a Beta FPV Air 65 BNF Champion Edition Tiny Whoop. I just recently picked this guy up and really like it. I think it's really cool. I just found out about this hobby. There's a whole community of tiny whoopers out there, and it got me interested in getting into this hobby. And also, eventually, I want to start building them and customizing them. So, with that being said, I made a lot of mistakes trying to figure out what all you actually need for a tiny whoop startup kit. And that's what this video is about. So pretty much what I did was, first thing I did was I went on tinywhoop.com and I started looking for these little tiny whoops. They have a lot of like limited edition kind of drones. They don't have a whole lot, but I was lucky enough to get one of the last ones of these Beta FPV Air 65 BNF Champion Edition tiny whoops. Now, I did a lot of research and I made a lot of mistakes along the way, purchasing things I didn't need, things I did need. But pretty much what I want to kind of tell you is kind of the rundown of what you need. So first things first, you need to get a tiny whoop. They have all kinds of different modules that you can buy on the website. You can actually build your own. I will be building my own here soon, but I wanted to just kind of give it a shot first to make sure I actually liked it. So this, there's a flight controller on here. This is a 5-in-1 flight controller on here. So that means it has all of the electronics that it needs in this tiny whoop. Besides for like the camera has its own circuit board. So I know you need a tiny whoop, transmitter, some FPV goggles, and then you're gonna need some batteries. And that's what I thought you originally needed. So I did my limited research and I went ahead and I bought this Radiomaster TX16S. This is the MK2 model. It's a 4-in-1. And I thought this was gonna be the right transmitter for me. I spent about $219 on this guy. So this right here is a Radiomaster TX16S. It's a pretty big transmitter. And I thought this was what I needed. Turns out it wasn't what I needed. So this tiny whoop runs off of ELRS. And this controller did not have ELRS capability with it. So I ended up having to buy ELRS module. I ended up going with the Happy Model ES24TX Pro micro transmitter, and that's on the back of this. So on this Radiomaster, there's a JR bay, and you can put modules inside of here. And I had to go get an ELRS module. Funny thing about this is that I thought I ordered everything right the first time, and I was ready to get going. I ordered off Amazon the things that I needed besides the tiny whoop. Got this off tinywhoop.com. And I thought I had everything I needed, and I was super excited to start going at this. I thought it'd be a simple process. Turns out it wasn't the case. That's when I learned I didn't have ELRS on this Radiomaster, so I had to go order an ELRS module. Another thing too is that with the Radiomasters, it doesn't come with a battery, so that's another thing I had to buy, and it added more days to me wanting to start this hobby. So for the battery, I bought a Radiomaster TX16S battery. It's a 5,000 milliamp, 7.4 volt XT30, and it has a JST plug on it. That cost me about $24. Oh, also, so this is going to be cut into the video, but I did forget to mention, instead of going with a Radiomaster TX16S, there are some other transmitters that I would probably recommend that already come with ELRS installed in them. I've looked it up and I've also got the price for them. So the first one, the cheapest version, is going to be the Beta FPV Light Radio 3. That's going to run you around $60 instead of the 220 I spent on this. And then on top of that, I spent another like $50 for the $60 for the ELRS module from Happy ELRS. There's also another transmitter that I would also recommend. It also has ELRS on it, and it's a little smaller. that one is going to be the Radio Master Pocket Radio. And that one's relatively cheap as well. It's $5 more than the Beta FPV Light Radio 3. It's $65. That one I'm actually probably going to purchase here soon because I don't really want to lug this big transmitter around with me, but that's what I would recommend. And now back to the video. By the way, this edition of the Tiny Whoop costs about $105. Just so you know what the cost of it is. Building it, I'm sure, is probably around the same point, or maybe a little cheaper. But the pros with building it is that you can kind of customize it. You can choose different frames. They sell frames pretty cheap on Tiny Whoop. The propeller is also pretty cheap. Most expensive things are probably the camera and the flight controller. So I went with those. Next thing you need is a pair of FPV goggles because these guys have a camera on it. And this specific model has an analog camera on it, not a HD, but an analog camera. So I went ahead and I went with the Fat Shark Scout model. And I saw the reviews on it and it looked pretty good. To be honest with you, pretty pleased with it. I turned it on and everything just to get connection with the drone, see how good it looks, and honestly, it looks pretty good. It comes with everything already in it. I was worried when I bought the transmitter and it didn't come with a battery. I was worried that the FPV goggles didn't come with a battery, but there's already a battery inside here. It's up in the top bay. Not knowing anything about Tiny Whoops, I just did a little bit of research, didn't really read the descriptions of what you buy. Make sure you read the descriptions. And I know I needed a 1S battery. I didn't know what kind of milliamp hours I needed, but I assumed it was the 450. So I went ahead and I bought a few packages of these Beta FPV lava batteries, and I bought the 450 milliamp hour batteries. Turns out with this Tiny Whoop, it doesn't fit on this frame. Now, Tiny Whoop did send me some extra frames, and they look like they're 75 millimeter frames. So I have no fear that eventually when I build that one up, I can use these batteries. So I'm going to hold on to them. They ran me probably around $25. But yeah, so when I tried putting it on the frame, realized it didn't fit, and then I had to go buy some more batteries for that. The batteries I went for next were the Beta FPV Lava 260 milliamp hour batteries. They're 1S also, that's important to know. There's different battery sizes, 1S, 2S, 3S, all the way up to, I believe, 6 or 8S, probably more than that. But, I just recently got into this. But these batteries fit perfectly in this edition of the Tiny Whoop. So I bought some of these. I have quite a bit of these. The batteries don't really last long from all the videos I've been watching, probably about 3-4 minutes if you're lucky. In the day, it's cold, so I imagine it's probably not going to be very much longer. Also, by the way, I have not flown this yet. So I'm also going to create a video of me flying this drone for the first time. So watch me fall out of the sky or whatever happens. But yeah, so we're going to see what happens with that. Now, these have a BT2 connector on them. Most households don't have any chargers that are like that. So I know I didn't. I went ahead and I bought a battery charger for it. And it's this guy right here. There are different models. I actually just bought another one that will show me the voltage on it. It hasn't arrived yet, but I did buy this one. Again, I should have done my research, but I went ahead and bought this guy. I think Amazon has it for around 28 bucks. I think I caught a good deal. I think I got it for 23 or 24. But that's something also you're going to want to get. Now, you have to bind everything together. You have to bind the transmitter, the goggle. Well, the goggles bind to the Tiny Whoop, but you have to figure that out. The hardest part for me about this whole thing was figuring out what the hell you're supposed to do. There's firmware that I needed to update. I had to use the ELRS configurator. I may make some videos about that, but how I learned was through this YouTuber named Joshua Bardwell. I would check out his videos if this is something that you're interested in. It helped me greatly, and he seems to be the drone guy. He seems to be everyone who you want to like. He seems to be Mr. Know-It-All. But I used his videos to bind everything together. And one thing that did kind of get brought up in my research is that sometimes you can really fuck it up. for, you know, easier way of putting it. But there's this, it's called a recovery dongle. Now, I bought this recovery dongle just in case I mess it up. I bought it off of Amazon for probably around 15 bucks, 16 bucks, somewhere around there. It's this little tiny dongle. So this is the recovery dongle. And it comes with some cables as well. So haven't had to use it yet, but I got it just in case, like I said. Apparently, if you mess things up, you can recover everything with the ELRS. But yeah, so that's pretty much what this video is about. It's just kind of my starter kit. And hopefully you can kind of learn something as well. If you have questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section. I'm still new to this, so I'm trying to learn it as we go. But I do have much more in-depth knowledge about other things as well, with aerial photography, drone mapping, things along those lines. That's not the only thing that this channel is going to be about. So if that's something that you're interested in watching, please subscribe. It would help me out a lot. Next video will be right here, and that's going to be me flying this tiny whoop for my first time. And we're going to do it outside because I'm not sure how well I'm going to do. But yeah, I'll make a video of that and check it out.